Welcome back everybody, it's Untyper Go, and today I have a pretty exciting one. So this is a deck that I have been practicing and playing around with on the arena for the last week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, and I've been using Overwolf MTGA Assistant, and the deck percentage is like 60% win rate right now, and I've started from gold like 3 maybe, gold 3 or 4, and now I'm in platinum 3. Mostly just playing this deck, so for what it's worth, I think this deck is actually in a pretty good spot in the meta right now. And you can play around with the numbers and kind of mix it up. So let's dive into the deck. So break it down. We're playing Boros Control, aka like Boros Prison, or whatever you want to call it. The main combo of the deck is Blood Sun, so we play all 4 copies. It's 3 mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, it draws a card, so it's going to replace itself no matter what, and all lands lose all abilities except for mana abilities. So this shuts off a whole bunch of things. Your opponent can't use Fabled Passage to fetch for their mana. They can't use their temples would come into play untapped instead of tapped. They no longer scry, various things like that. But what we're using it for is Lotus Field, and this is a land that has hexproof, enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, we have to sacrifice 2 lands, and it taps for 3 mana of any one color. So if anybody's familiar with this from the older standard, maybe like a year and a half ago, this was pretty popular. But it's really good right now in the meta. Like I said, it shuts off Crawling Barrens and like all kinds of things, all the colorless lands, and it's just really good in the format right now with Blood Sun. But so anyway, with Blood Sun in play, we don't have to sacrifice any lands. This doesn't come into play tapped. It no longer has hexproof, but it'll still tap for 3 mana. So it's just 3 lands in one turn basically. So we can go turn 3 Blood Sun, turn 4 into Chandra. That's pretty good just by playing our lands. So that's the core of the deck, and then the rest of the deck is just things to get us there, buy us some time, and more threats and win conditions. So to protect us a little bit, we have 4 copies of Shock to deal with our opponent's creatures. We can also hit their life totals, and we can hit Planeswalkers. We have 3 copies of Fire Prophecy to deal with our opponent's creatures. We can also use this card to shuffle away cards from our hand and draw into some more resource. We have Mazemind Tome to find more lands, make sure that we can scry, get our land drops, find our board wipes when we need it to. We can also draw later on in the game. We have 2 copies of Banishing Light. This hits any non-land permanent, so it's going to mostly be effective against Heliod's, any indestructible creatures and stuff like that, Planeswalkers, the things like that. We have 2 copies of Deafening Clarion. This is a small creature board wipe. It's going to deal 3 damage to every creature. So we don't have any creatures of our own to give lifelink to in this deck. Doesn't really matter for that mode, but just being able to have something to deal with our opponent's creatures on turn 3 is pretty nice. Then we have 2 copies of Cast Out. This is another Banishing Light type effect, except for 1 more mana, and we can play for instant speed, so we get to flash it in, and then it also has the added benefit of being able to cycle for 1 mana if we have to. We have 2 copies of Shatter the Sky to deal with our opponent's creatures board wipe wise. We have 2 more copies of Wrath of God, so we're doing like a 2-2 split because, we want 4 board wipes, but we don't want to play all 4 of each, and if our opponent decides to I don't know, Ixalan's Binding one of them or something, or Ashiok's Erasure or something, we have something else we can play. And then we also have 2 copies of Authority of the Councils. This makes it so all of our opponent's creatures come into play tapped, and we gain a life whenever a creature comes into play. So this is going to slow down the super aggressive decks. Goblins and stuff can't just win the turn they come in. The Teamer Neoform deck can't just beat you the turn that they combo off and all that. So it buys you at least 1 more turn. And now to get into the threats, we have 4 copies of Chandra, Torch of Defiance. This is a 4 mana Planeswalker from Kaladesh Remastered. It comes in with 4 loyalty, and it has 2 pluses, which is really good. It has 4 abilities total, which is crazy, because there's only 2 or 3 Planeswalkers total in the entire game that have that. So one of the pluses, exile the top, you may cast it. If you don't, deals 2 damage to each opponent. So no matter what, even if you don't get to play the card, you do get to deal some damage, so it's going to do something. Then the other plus is add 2 mana. So this can go from turn 4 Chandra, Torch of Defiance, to turn 5 Chandra, Awakened Inferno without having your land drop. So that's pretty cool. You can also use this to you play this, and you can plus up and also play a Mazemind Tome the same turn, or you can Fire Prophecy your opponent's creature, whatever you got to do. And then you can -3 to have Chandra deal 4 damage to target creature, and you can -7 to get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, this emblem deals 5 damage to any target. So this is going to be one of the biggest ways to win the game. Your opponent has to deal with this, or they're in a lot of trouble very quickly. Then we have 3 copies of Big Mama Chandra. Chandra Awakened Inferno. She's 6 mana, can't be countered, comes in with 6 loyalty. The +2 is really what matters here. Your opponent gets an emblem that pings them for damage on each of their upkeeps, and they stack. So you can just do 1 damage, then it's 2 damage every turn, then 3 damage, and it just keeps adding up. We do have the -3, so you can deal 3 damage to each non-elemental creature. That's going to come up occasionally where your opponents are having elemental creatures, so like you gotta like be careful with that. But he also had the -X that can hit planeswalkers or creatures and exile them instead. Super good. But this is like these Chandras are basically our win conditions. This is what we're trying to rely on. And then we have 2 copies of Ugin because we are accelerating pretty good with Lotus Field. And this is just another like Chandra effect to be able to wipe the board, but better. And it can bolt on the plus, so it's going to help, you know, feed the cause of just trying to get non-combat damage to our opponent's face and win the game that way. And then in the sideboard, we have Grafdigger's Cage for Muxus and, you know, unfair decks like that. Rest in Peace for graveyard strategies. Fry against like Azorius Control. Tibalt against the life gain strategies. Those are what really slow this deck down the most, I think. So being able to shut down their life gain to slow them down, their creatures can't get bigger, their Heliates can't place counters and things like that really helps. We have 1 more copy of Deafening Clarion and 4 copies of Leyline of Sanctity against Burn and like, you know, Thoughtseize, things like that. So that is the deck. In the mana base, we have a mix of basics, a mix of duels and, you know, pathways, and that is the deck. So I will leave a link down below in the Ether Hub if you want to check it out and import it, try it out yourselves. Let me know if you like it. If you like it, leave a like on today's video. Leave a comment on today's video if you have any suggestions or any cards or decks that you would like to see on the arena in any future videos. Subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Let's take this into the arena and try to hold down the fort with Boros control. Alright, in game 1 up against Cynical, and they get to go first, but our opening hand is somewhat okay. If they're a small ball creature deck, the Deafening Clarion is probably going to pay off pretty well for us. And if we can find a Lotus Field, then we have almost enough mana to play the Ugin. So this is okay. We'll keep this and try it out. Alright, so I don't like seeing a mountain. That kind of sucks. It's probably burn or some form. I see the Is It sleeves too. Are they actually playing Is It? No, it might just be burn. It's just burn. Well, I mean, double burning trees. Okay. This Deafening Clarion is definitely going to pay off, though. Oh, and a Wrath of God? Yeah, this matchup's going to be... This should be cake. If we can just live to see one more turn, we're in good shape. So we're already taking 8 damage here. Alright, so put the stop on our upkeep. Fire Prophecy is good too. I don't think we need it though. Move the stop, resolve. Another Blood Sun's not really that relevant either. Kind of want Lotus Field or something. Authority of the Consuls, on the other hand, that's a really good card for us to have. Double red, what can our opponent have here? Probably nothing that saves their creatures, right? No, I didn't think so. So that really helped. That buys us a lot of time. Alright, so they're Gruul. Okay. So Questing Beast is definitely something that we should expect. Authority of the Council's coming down next turn is going to be helpful. And there's Chandra. That's good too. I should have kept the stop on our upkeep, but that's okay. So we're going to Blood Sun first. And then we'll Authority of the Councils. So again, even if they get a Questing Beast or something like that, it's not going to just kill us. It's not going to attack us down on the first turn. Alright, so Gruul Spellbreaker for our opponent. Opponent chose the counter. Smart. No attacks either. Interesting. Very interesting. Wrath of God, I could probably play on this turn. I don't know what else they could be having in their hand. Yeah, we'll keep it. Remove the stop, draw. It's just Wrath of God now. Now we can cycle the cast out if we need to, or we can hold it up to get rid of a Questing Beast or a Clothis or something. Golly is cool. Gains us some more life back. Opponent gives it up. Alright, up against our next opponent, and they are on the play. Our hand is really good. Like if we can find our land, I'll put it with the hello. We'll say hello back. If we can just find the land, so we don't have to play Lotus Field until after we find a Blood Sun. Grafdigger's Cage for our opponent. It seems like a lot of people are main decking this lately. It doesn't really affect us at all, but more power to our opponent. We found the Blood Sun. That's really exciting. So play this out as a mountain. We'll play Authority of the Councils and pass. Hold up the shock for whatever they play. And if we can find a third land so we don't have to play the Lotus Field, we're in some super good shape. 9 lives for our opponent, huh? So that means we have to rely on finding an Ugin. Okay. Well, there's the land. Alright, Fire Prophecy. It's not going to do it. We need to... We're going to need to, like, probably worry about Solemnity. 9 lives is not that big of a deal. Idyllic Tutor's cool. And this is, I mean, this is scary, but it's honestly fine because, again, we can just win with Ugin. As long as we can find Ugin, we're in good shape. We can also let the 9 lives build up a little bit. Banishing Light's going to deal with the Solemnity for now, so unless they have another one, they're in a lot of trouble. Oh, another Lotus Field. So we have Ugin mana. So, opponent's in a lot of trouble here, because he's going to take 2 more Incarnation counters, I believe, on his upkeep. Yep. Oh, that's amazing. Yep, opponent's digging. Alright, they found Karn. That's pretty cool. What can they grab with Karn? Like Platinum Angel or something, maybe? Yeah, called it. Can't afford the Platinum Angel just yet, though. We can hold up the double shock if we really need to, so we can kill it. Doesn't seem bad. Let's see. They lose after 9. So they're going to take 3 more, so that puts them to 6. And then 1, 2. So yeah, it still wouldn't be enough just yet. Yeah, we're just going to keep plussing up on the Chandra then. Up to 6. If they found another Solemnity, then... If our opponent finds another Solemnity, then we're screwed. I don't know why they didn't play the Platinum Angel first. They had the mana. 4. Alright, Karn to fetch again. And opponent gives it up. Alright, up against Alien first. They're on the play. It seems like that's just going to be the trend all day. We do have the Blood Sun Lotus Field in hand. If we can find a third land, then we're pretty good. And Ugin as a payoff. So this opening hand is definitely a trap, I would say. Because it seems like it's really good, but it might not pay off that way. Yeah, see, so we're already kind of in a lot of trouble because this has to come into play tapped because this isn't a basic. It doesn't have the typing. So we could play the Authority of the Councils, But then unless we draw... I mean, I'm going to risk it so I can get the authority into play first. Seeing the black-red land means that this is going to be an aggressive matchup, most likely. I expect Kroxa. Ooh, Grixis, okay. Thought Erasure. Alright, opponent snags the Ugin. So it seems like we're up against Grixis control. Play this down tapped and pass it up. So playing that first was a mistake then against this matchup. Didn't seem to matter. That's even worse. So we don't want to play this. They know we have the Lotus Field. They see that we're sitting on it. I knew this hand was a trap all along. And I did it anyway. Alright, so we're going to pay the life, try the Blood Sun. It's probably not even going to resolve. Oh, I guess so. Alright, so now we're in okay shape. Thief of Sanity, okay. It's a good mid-rangey creature, I like it. We'll play the Lotus Field now to get the most value out of it. So we have 6 total mana. Let's try the Fire Prophecy first. Okay, opponent decides to protect it that way. We'll play the Chandra. And we don't want to actually risk losing something relevant, so we're just going to plus for the mana and pass. Okay, Ungrath's Rampage is pretty good. And they get to replay their Thief of Sanity. Shock off the top's such a good draw. Alright, so let's Blood Sun first really quick and see what else we can get. Cast out's pretty cool. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and shock the Thief of Sanity. And we're just gonna pass it up. We can cycle the cast out if we need to. But I think we're honestly okay. Our opponent's down to 2 cards. Okay. Nico Bolas is good. So we're actually going to sacrifice one of the Blood Suns. We're just going to hold up the cast out because we want the mana. Inspiring Vantage is cool. Alright, so I could play Ugin, but then that doesn't seem all that relevant. What are the chances you think that that's Spell Pierce mana? Like, what are the odds? Opponent knows we have the Banishing Light. So they could be holding up Stern Dismissal. No, they're not holding up nothing. Okay. Thought Erasure. No. Alright, opponent's taking Ugin. Lazav, huh? Sure. Nothing in his grave with hexproof. So, I mean, I guess we try and go for it. Oh, that wasn't his end step? Ah, I'm a fool. Well, Wrath of God's cool, but I don't really feel like that's relevant. What's the Thief of Sanity? Yeah, I mean, we might as well fire this now because we really don't want him to get the Thief of Sanity triggers. Oh, come on. Seriously? Nice top deck. Will we just get another board wipe? I mean, that's close enough. I could try and cycle it for something else, but it's not worth it. Alright, land off the top. So we're going to keep this in our hand. Bluff, make our opponents spend their thought erasures and stuff. Alright, so now we're drawing dead. That's really good. Well, that's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. We're definitely going to lose. Oh, our opponent didn't even escape it. What? They have to be holding up a counterspell or something. We're just going to keep drawing dead. Sure. So we lose 2 life. Shock doesn't quite do it. Right, let's pass. If they play a creature first or something that we can shock, we'll do that. If not, we're going to fire it before attacks. Actually, it doesn't matter. Nah, we'll let them make us discard it because we don't want to lose the 3 life. Not like this. Not like this deck. No. No, I don't want to lose to Crocs, of all things. You know, sometimes Arena it just doesn't want you to have a chance. Welcome back to the wrap-up, everybody. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, as always. Today we went 2-1 in Historic, and it was okay, you know. Lost to Croxa is what it is. But the deck performed pretty good, and I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I did. I've been loving this deck for the last couple weeks, like I've said, and I'm trying to figure out. Hopefully, Kaldheim introduces some new cards that we can play as like potential finishers. Maybe they print a new board wipe or something, or some crazy new land that'll just make this deck crazy over the top. But we'll see. They might even reprint Lightning Bolt. Who knows? Like anything can make this deck a little bit better. But thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on today's video. Subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff if you would like to stay up to date with all the future videos and everything. And that's it for today. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.